Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for September 11th. September 11th is the 254th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 255th in leap years, with 111 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is bureau. Bureau is a noun and it has several meanings. A bureau might be a writing desk, especially one with a slanted top. A bureau can be a low chest of drawers with a mirror for use in a bedroom. Somehow, the word bureau has also acquired meaning as a specialized administrative unit, like a university testing bureau or a subdivision of an executive department of a government, like the Federal Bureau of Investigation. A bureau can be a commercial agency that serves as a clearinghouse or intermediary for exchanging information, making contacts, or coordinating cooperative activities like a credit bureau or a speakers bureau. A bureau might also be a branch of a newspaper, news magazine, or wire service in an important news center such as the Washington Bureau of the Associated Press. A bureau might also be an executive committee or a smaller directing body of a larger entity, such as a policy-forming committee of a larger political body. There's even a bureau print, which is a pre-cancel stamp issued by the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing. The word bureau comes to us through French, where it referred to a type of coarse cloth used to cover desks or tables. Latin before that, where it referred to a shaggy cloth. First known use of the word bureau is around 1698. Bureau. The word bureau was requested by Mr. Bowers as we came across it in a news item. And if you have a word you'd like us to examine in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, way back in the way back, when the Roman Empire was only about 30 years along, there was a major battle between the Romans and some of the Germanic tribes, generally referred to by the Romans as barbarians. On September 11th in the year 9, a battle that has come to be known as the Battle of Teutoburg Forest came to a conclusion. The so-called barbarians beat the socks off the Romans in the greatest defeat in the history of the Roman Empire. One result of that battle was that the Rhine River was established as the northern border of the Roman Empire for the next 400 years. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of New York City, what pops to mind for me is a huge mass of buildings. New York City, though, is composed of 5 governmental districts called boroughs, not to be confused with bureaus. The 5 boroughs are the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. Any one of those is plenty big enough to be its own city, but there they are, all smushed together to form New York City. The surface area of New York City is something like 302.5 square miles in area, or about 778 kilometers. Manhattan Island accounts for 22.7 of those square miles, or 59.13 kilometers. Manhattan is indeed an island, a fairly long, skinny one, about 2.3 miles wide, that's 3.7 kilometers, and about 13 miles long, 21 kilometers, just a little over twice as long as the city of Mustang in Oklahoma. That said, it was on September 11th in 1609 that the explorer Henry Hudson discovered Manhattan Island and the indigenous people living there. Alexander Hamilton was appointed the first United States Secretary of the Treasury on September 11, 1789. This is the birthday of a musician named Leo Kottke, born September 11, 1945 in Athens, Georgia. His family moved frequently. They lived in 12 different states as he grew up, but it was in Muskogee, Oklahoma that he was influenced by folk and Delta blues music. As a musician, he mostly composes music and plays 6- and 12-string acoustic guitars. Leo is notable for his finger-picking style and occasionally sings. Leo Kottke has overcome some incredible challenges in his life, like a partial hearing loss and painful tendinitis in his playing hand. two conditions, either of which could bring a musician's career to a screeching halt, but he's worked around and through both of those issues. He's got 23 studio albums, 10 compilation albums, 4 live albums, and 4 soundtrack albums, and he does put out a nice sound. Still alive and still working, Leo Kottke turned 79 in 2024. Happy birthday, Leo Kottke. On September 11, 2001, 2 airplanes full of people crashed into the World Trade Center buildings in New York City, and then those buildings crumpled to the ground. There was also an incident at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and yet a 4th plane whose trajectory was interrupted by its savvy and brave passengers who unfortunately also lost their lives. Thousands of lives were lost that day. Everyone who was alive on that day and old enough to know what was going on certainly remembers where they were and what they were doing when they heard the news. A terrible and heartbreaking day and a clear turning point in history. And we have a playlist of episodes for this day in history, as well as a playlist of single subjects called How About That? And words of the day in a playlist called There's a Word for That, and I'll leave links to those playlists for you. Today's song is Pamela Brown by Leo Kottke. This one was written by Tom T. Hall, who was himself quite the storyteller when it came to songwriting. Pamela Brown was released by Leo Kottke in 1974. It's an entertaining story song about a fella who didn't get the girl he wanted, but it all worked out anyway. An example of a thing that probably seemed like the worst thing that could possibly happen at the time, but ended up being a catalyst for something better. I always found this song delightful for the way it sounds and the message from the singer's perspective. The song Pamela Brown has been covered by several artists over the years. I've included a link to Leo Kottke's version of it, Pamela Brown by Leo Kottke, link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.